September 21st is the Virgo Solar Eclipse at 29 degrees of Virgo in your chart. This is a new moon solar eclipse at the very end of the sign. And it's also right before the sun crosses over the equinox threshold and moves into Libra 24 hours later. There's a lot going on in this particular solar eclipse, so I'm going to break it down for you and look at everything that's happening here that I feel is going to be about some very important personal revelations and insights that show you what you're complete with. And therefore, you're ready for a new trajectory, new choices, new forward movement. So when we have a new moon solar eclipse at the end of a sign, it brings in an intensity to the energy of that sign. It has a pressure to it because the pressure is about the mastery and completion of what Virgo has been showing you, teaching you, what you've been embodying throughout Virgo season. And if you'll recall, Virgo season started with a 0 degree new moon. So if you were to look back on the past month, what have you been observing in yourself, in your life, and in the Virgo areas of your chart that you're realizing you have to do it differently? That there's a pressure to grow. There's a pressure that requires us to approach problems, issues, anything that's uncomfortable with a new level of awareness. And that it can be, in Virgo, it's just making small changes. It's just the incremental little shifts that pay off and that matter. So that can help with minimizing overwhelm. But with Virgo, you can overthink it and keep thinking about it so that you get that perfect answer, the perfect pathway, and you can keep coming up against, that's not good enough. That won't work really. I can do better. I don't like that. So you come up against your own inner critic who hasn't signed off on something. And so with this new moon solar eclipse, you're meant to accept what is for what it is. It is what it is. And make your choice and your new intentions from that place of grounded reality. Say, okay, this is what it was. This is how this played out. You could be realizing something ran its course. Maybe you're understanding, I'm done with this. I don't have energy to be in this industry, to do this work. I don't want to keep doing this. I'm not interested in staying in something. That could be the revelation that this Virgo solar eclipse brings you. Because at the 29 degrees of a sign, the ending of a sign, it's based on experience. So you're making a decision and you're having a revelation based on what you've lived through, what you've experienced. And now there's a sense of, I want different, I want more, I want better. Now in the mix, with this eclipse at 29 degrees of Virgo, it's opposing Saturn retrograde over there in the late degrees of Pisces. It's a direct opposition. And I feel that part of this solar eclipse, it pierces through the veil. And that as Saturn returns to these late degrees of Pisces and shows us the work that needs to be done, what we are still responsible for, that we have to take care of, We've got to complete it, finalize it, phase it out. The opposition here from the sun and moon in Virgo, which is very discerning, sees right through what isn't working. And this opposition is a standstill, a challenge. Saturn in Pisces removes idealism. It removes those rose-tinted glasses and says, this is what you have to work with, or this is what's really going on. This is what's happening behind the scenes. This is the truth, and it's a reality check. And it's interesting because, you know, Saturn is very much about reality. And so in Pisces, we're getting the reality check around what's not real, the propaganda, the false glamour, the magic that isn't real. And Saturn brings in what needs to end in these areas of our lives, in these industries, in these stories in the world. So Saturn's doing work at the end of Pisces here, and it brings about, I just see the energy sinking, like crashing realizations. It can be depression. It can be this sinking sense of, oh no, I didn't know that's what that was. And I feel that what this particular solar eclipse is meant to show us is that when there are, we'll call them hard knocks or big reality checks, you still can make a choice that's best for you, even if you're really disappointed. And so there's challenging energies here that are ultimately meant to send us forward on a new path. But there will be the need to work through the energies, emotions, and whatever you're thinking about. Because this energy between Virgo and Pisces is how our energy fields and our emotions are embodied in our physical selves and in our brains. So it's almost like needing more private time to process, to think something through, to work through anything that's coming up for you if it has caused anxiety or fear or worry. In Virgo, it can be accumulated stress. And just right there, how are you handling the stress of what is unfolding in the world, in your life, around you? We know this has been a big year with a lot of dynamic ongoing changes. We haven't had a break. There hasn't been a downtime. So how are you handling that? What is the state of your health and well-being? Because this is also a Virgo solar eclipse that's going to bring in some important messages around how you are actually and realistically handling these energies. And you might be surprised at some things, at any results from a recent medical checkup, or anything you're feeling in your body. If anything is feeling like it's not working properly, it's holding you back, you're really tired, something's off here, like you need to get a checkup. That could also be something that this Virgo solar eclipse brings up, because it's how we are physically holding these energies that will also give us important messages. Now, after the Virgo solar eclipse is exact, the sun then moves into Libra about 24 hours later, and that is the Libra equinox. The fall equinox for those of us here in the Northern Hemisphere, spring equinox for those in the Southern Hemisphere. And as the sun moves into Libra at 0 degrees, this is a world point. World points in astrology have important significance, collective energies. It's like a bigger checking in point on how are we doing. And sun in Libra is how are our relationships going. And this particular energy is opposing, for the first time in our lives, Neptune retrograde in Aries, also at 0 degrees, the Aries point, world point. And this is going to bring up big relational dynamics in the world at large. What is being negotiated? What is being withheld? What is hard to understand? Where is there a lack of boundaries? Where is there an appearance of negotiations and diplomacy? Is it real? Is it leading to anything? Is it all just a dog and pony show? The sun in Libra opposing Neptune in Aries at 0 degrees, world points for the first time ever in our lives, is highlighting what's really being discussed and negotiated. What's truly being communicated. Is it real cooperation or not? Now, at a personal level, this could bring up in your relationships anything you are idealizing or not seeing clearly, either in yourself or in another. This can bring up, what do I really need that is true for me versus what do I negotiate away for the sake of peace, for the sake of the connection. So there's going to be big relational dynamics here right after the solar eclipse as the sun moves into Libra, opposes that Neptune in Aries, and we're not going to have a clear understanding until the sun moves further away from the opposition. So there's a lot going on here. The other thing I want to highlight is that the solar eclipse is at 29 degrees of Virgo, right? And so it's at the very end of the first 6 signs of the zodiac, which is about your personal identity, self-concept, who you are, what you enjoy, how you know yourself. Aries through Virgo is about our personal development journey. Then the sun enters into Libra, which is a gateway to the second half of the zodiac wheel, where we then share our energy, take it outside of ourselves, have more conversations, open up to others. And this is always a turning point in the astrological calendar. Think of Virgo as what you have harvested, what is grown, healed, built, been developed, and then you take it to market in Libra. You take it into a different environment and share it with more people. And so this is a threshold point that gives you a good opportunity to check in on, what do I want to share with others? What do I want to keep for myself? It's going to bring up the people in your world, in your life that you regularly interact with. An entry point into Libra can also then introduce you to new people, different people. Libra is the energy of one-on-one dynamics. It's working one-on-one with clients, coworkers, colleagues. It's meant to be interactions that are equal. Whether you are equal in your status or you're just sharing in a reciprocal way. So we're meant to be balancing our energies here. Even if the Virgo solar eclipse takes you off balance, there could be a quick recovery or a sense of, okay, I know what to do. I know who to talk to. That's the sun in Libra. This is what came up for me during the eclipse. This is who I go to share, someone who will get it, who will listen, give me feedback, help me understand it. So that's also a part of this energy signature. Whatever comes up for you, whatever is being revealed, and you're seeing it in a new light, in a new way, you might also be ready to then share and discuss it with a trusted friend or somebody in your inner circle who gets you and who knows, who knows you don't have to figure it all out on your own. And so I feel like that's a good final message here. The Virgo energy is very responsible and will hold a lot. But as we move into Libra season, you're meant to open up. You're meant to know that there's others who will understand, and you don't have to figure it all out on your own. So I hope this gives you some good insights into what this very interesting Virgo solar eclipse is bringing up individually and in the collective. And then also I have for you here the separate astrology chart video where I go through more of the specifics in the astrology chart. So be sure to check that out too, especially if you have planets or points at 29 degrees of Virgo or 29 degrees of the mutable signs. Mutable signs are Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, and Pisces. Also, if you have planets or points at 0 degrees of the cardinal signs, Aries, Cancer, Libra, Capricorn. Those are the two most intense degree points here for the eclipse. But I would extend the orb. I would say, because at 29 degrees of Virgo, you could certainly go starting at 22, 23, 24 degrees of Virgo. You'll start to feel the effects of this eclipse before it's exact. And I would say too that as we go forward, it would just kind of be the early degrees of the cardinal signs of Libra. Typically we'd say like 5 degrees before the degree point and 5 degrees after the degree point. But trust what feels right for you. And as always, thank you so much for joining me for this video. Thank you for connecting here on my YouTube channel. I appreciate your likes, your subscribes. I love your comments, So please share anything that you are experiencing or going through, especially if it could be what will help other people. I'll see you back here soon. Wishing you a beautiful Virgo solar eclipse.